makeups can hear this info because this is good info.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry, keep going.
No, you're so good. Thank you. Okay, so I'll start over real quick. Okay, so I just sent the SNA scholarship in the chat. This is going to cover the dues for the entire year for 3 to 5 people. The form isn't super long. It's like 4 questions. Just be honest. Tell us about yourself. Tell us why you want the scholarship, why you think you deserve it. If you get the scholarship, we will email you to announce it, and the entire exec board and our faculty on exec will help choose this. Everyone has a chance to apply. I think you guys should. It's a really good and easy, fun opportunity just to do something fun with SNA. And then our next thing, I will also send a separate link. This will be for our big little that we are trying to start to get going. Let me see if it'll send. Sorry, guys. It's so weird multitasking. It's only going to direct message. Let me see. Okay, I will send this in a second after I finish explaining. But so for the Big Little program, this program will be starting with the freshmen and the sophomore twos, if you guys are interested. So sophomore twos will be mentoring freshmen, and then the seniors that are kind of doing this as their senior project will kind of mentor the sophomore twos. So eventually it won't be part of the senior project anymore. It'll kind of be through the Harris College of Nursing. This isn't something specific that SNA is doing. We're working with TCU Nursing to kind of get this program off the ground. It's kind of like the pilot program. So nothing is really specific. Nothing is really set in stone yet. Just know that it's going to be a time commitment. And if you sign up, I will be sending your information back over to faculty and nursing to get this started. But if you have any questions, I've been working with faculty on this, so you can still shoot me an email if you want. Thanks, guys.
All right, hi everyone. I'm the vice president and I'm in charge of care packages. These will be starting in the springtime, so you'll hear more about that later. But for now, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. My email and phone number are on the screen, and I'm excited for this year. I hope you have a great week.
Hi, y'all. My name is Adriana, and I'm the community service chair. This is what I look like when I have not just come back from a 12-hour clinical. So I'm really excited to be doing this position this year. So just a few things for me. The blood drive is going to be Tuesday, September 14th, so about a week from now, from 1 to 6 p.m. It's going to be in that little circle drive right in front of the blue. This is a really important event for us. I want it to be super successful. So there's 2 point opportunities for this event. So you can either be a check-in volunteer, and that's going to be 1 per person per hour for the duration of the event, so 6 people. I am going to post the link in the chat box when I'm done talking. If you sign up for really anything regarding the blood drive, you need to show up. Everyone, if you're thinking about participating or you know you're participating, just jot down my number real quick. There is a number on the sign up website. I don't know whose it is, but it's not mine, but it does say my name, not my number. This is my number. So that's for the check-in volunteer. And then if you're donating blood, please show up to your appointment on time and show up to your appointment. If you don't, we don't really get walk-ups, so then that's just less donations we have. And then for both of these, you're just going to complete the proof form on the SNA website with a picture for your points. Also, 2 more things, other point opportunities. The Tarrant County Women's Center is having a volunteer information session on Zoom on Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. If you're interested in that, you can head on over to their website, which is just the Women's Center of Tarrant County. And then also the Joan Katz Cancer Resource Center at Baylor All Saints is looking for a few volunteers, maybe 3 or 4. Basically, they do cancer navigation and caring for cancer patients at Baylor, just kind of like navigating them through the diagnosis and through the process of treatment, all that. It's a really great organization. I actually got to talk to them today at my clinical, so that was really awesome. And if you're interested in that, just shoot me an email and I can give you more information. But Yep, that is all from me. If you have any questions about the blood drive, the day of, I will be there for about 3 hours or so. So just feel free to come up to me. And then again, text me if you need anything. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. This is my little slide. I'm Megan Owens. I'm the secretary for SNA. I'm also a sophomore too, so please feel free to reach out to me. There's my number and also my email. I know that sometimes nursing can be like a little bit scary. I know like I went through A&P too, so please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions.
Hey guys, I'm Hannah. I'm the communications chair. I'm a senior. So basically I just run the Instagram and update the website with everything. So if you guys have any nursing photos, or I know a bunch of you got your white coats yesterday, so exciting. So if you have any of those pictures that you'd like for me to post on the Instagram or the website, you can text them to me or email them to me. We're working on getting like a photo circle set up, so that'll be helpful. And then on the website, there's a bunch of like links for you to go study with, links for Maddie's going to post like the membership forms and everything there. And there's also Redbubble stickers, and you can also find the merchandise, like all the t-shirts and stuff. And so it's really cute. And just stay up to date with the Instagram and go check out the website.
Hi. Okay. So I'm Maddie. I'm the membership director. And I know a lot of people have questions about, we changed a lot of things in regards to membership stuff and how y'all submit stuff. So I'll go slow because I know it's confusing. First of all, I learned how to code to help make this new website. So please use it. I tried to make it as easy as possible for y'all, and I made forms so y'all don't have to, Bailey just sent it tcusna.com. So no .weebly, any of that anymore, just tcusna.com. We pay for that domain, so use it. And also I made all these forms so I can kind of explain. Is there a way to like go on the website? Is who's in charge of it's okay. We don't even have to worry about it. So there's an FAQ form, or not form, there's an FAQ page with a bunch of like common questions. So if you have a question before you email me, look at that. And then there's forms now. So instead of having to email me or text me or trying to figure out, like, I know it's always so confusing, like who do I email with, like when my proof and all that, don't even worry about it. Go on the website. There's all these forms. You just put your name, your ID, submit the picture, whatever. So easy now. And then also there's a form called, let me check, because of course I forgot, membership status form. So I know a lot of people are like, you forget if you have how many semesters you've been active and all that. It's confusing. We forget, we're busy. So I made a form for it. So you can just fill it out and tell me what you want to know. And within like a day or two, I will get back to you on that. So you don't have to worry about emailing me and getting lost in all of that. Also, what else do we have? Okay, I'm about to send a form too. Sorry, a lot of forms, contact information. Because we have a lot of members now, y'all. It was just so exciting. We have like almost 400. But I'm ADHD and sometimes the roster is not right up my alley. So I want to make sure I have all of y'all's information. All right. So I will send that in like 2 seconds. And just fill out your name, TCU ID, all that good stuff. And if you're not registered on Engage, then do that, because if you're not, then you're not going to be on my roster. So that's the most important thing. If you have any other questions, I think that's everything. If you have any other questions, send them in the chat right now. And if they're like a question I'm getting a lot, I'll add it to the FAQ on our website, because if odds are, if you have a question, someone else will have the same one. So I think that's everything. I tried to rush through that.
All right, so I'm not Felice, but hey y'all, my name is Felice Johnson and I'm a junior nursing major, child development minor from Texas. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'm in charge of all things raffle, bylaws, and opening thoughts, so always a fun time. And enjoy my Halloween costume of the decade. Sorry, I couldn't be here.
Okay, also update. Oh, so sorry.
You got it.
I forgot something. Okay, I know with the meetings this year, it's Tuesday and Wednesdays. There's no schedules like with all the classes that align perfectly. So we're so sorry about that. But we are doing meeting makeups again this year. So on the membership tab on the website, I'll put all that info. So I will try to get that done the next few days. So if you have class on Tuesdays or class on Wednesdays and whatever, then just don't even worry. That will all be a thing and all the information will be on there ASAP. Okay, now I'm done.
Thank you. Just going back earlier to talking about the Big Little program, some of you guys had questions. There was an email sent out a little bit ago that you probably got from nursing, but this is a completely new program that's being piloted through seniors and like their senior kind of like legacy project. So just keep that in mind whenever you're signing up for that. And then also, I'm sure you all have the burning question of how will I get my attendance tracked at this meeting? And it'll be at the very end after our guest speaker. So you guys have to stay the whole time. Okay, so for Allison, she can't be here tonight either, but she's our historian and apparel chair for this year. She's going to be releasing the fall merchandise soon. If you guys are freshmen and you don't know, basically we put together shirts and hats and like fun stickers and stuff that will say like TCU SNA, TCU nursing, stuff like that. There's going to be a merchandise kind of like website almost this year, but you can go to our TCU SNA website and there's kind of like a tab that says merchandise and you'll just click on that and it'll take you to that link to order. It should be super easy and you'll do all that shipping through there. But if you guys have any questions about t-shirts, stuff like that, just reach out to Allison.
Hello. Okay. Hi, my name's China, and I'm the treasurer this school year. So one of the things that are like the things that I really do, I work on like fundraising and profit shares and just like different ideas on how to raise more money for SNA. So one of the big things that we do is profit shares. And so I'm going to post about, or like someone will post about when our first one will be. It'll probably be the next meeting, like sometime before or after the meeting. So you can go with like, and go to the profit share. Basically what a profit share is, like we partner with like a local place, whether that's Smoothie King or like we're trying to get something with Common Grounds going. And like when you go, you just mention SNA and then a small profit of that will go to us. And so it's kind of like a fundraising opportunity, but going with friends is always cool. Okay, it should say my email, but for some reason it doesn't. And it's tcusnatreasure@gmail.com. But other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to text me.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Samantha. I'm the activities chair this year for SNA. So I'm in charge of getting our speakers together and having them come visit our chapters and talk to us. Today, we're going to be hearing from Madeline Wright. She works for a travel nursing agency called Advantis Medical. She's going to be sharing a little bit about what she does and some info about how to get into travel nursing, which is something I know a lot of y'all are interested in. You can post questions in the chat or ask them after her talk is over, and she can answer some of those for y'all. But I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Madeline, if you're ready.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll turn my video on. Hi guys, I'm Madeline. I graduated from TCU in 2019. I actually graduated as a geology major and am now doing travel nursing. So as you can imagine, my job does not require a specific degree. But yeah, I graduated in 2019, played soccer when I was at TCU, had no healthcare background prior to getting into healthcare recruiting. This was just kind of an opportunity. I knew I wanted to do recruiting. I just didn't know what industry for, but I did know I wanted to do something in healthcare. So just to kind of kick off travel nursing in general. So there's so much to talk about. There's so much detail to go into. So I'm going to try to stay within my window that Samantha told me to. So to begin, typically nurses that I work with are going to have their bachelor's in nursing. You're allowed to have your associate's degree. A lot of my facilities will take an associate's degree. However, we do have a small number of them that will require a bachelor's, and it's definitely preferred. So it's awesome that all of you guys are going to have that going into it. It'll put you a leg up for sure. Once you get that degree, to be a traveler in general, you have to have a year of experience in nursing. The main reason behind this is that when you become a traveler, your purpose there is to basically fill the gaps that the facility cannot fill themselves. So when you get there, typically you're going to have 2 days of orientation. So your first day is going to be classroom, learn the charting system, walk through the hospital, figure out where you are so you don't get lost. And then your second day is going to be a shadow shift with another nurse on the unit. And after that, it's just good luck. So you have to have a year of experience. Most facilities require 2. So those of you that are wanting to get into it, typically you have to at least have obviously that year. I'm working with some facilities right now that require 18 months. With COVID, they're being a little more flexible, as you can imagine. They really need nurses at different facilities, so they're being a little bit more flexible with that. I know a lot of you guys, I'm assuming, are wanting to get into it, obviously for the travel that you can do, but also the money that they're making right now is kind of absurd. I've never seen it this high before. So I totally understand wanting to get into it for that. When you all are going to get into traveling, obviously I have no idea what rates will look like at that point. Typically before COVID, we averaged around, it was like anywhere from 1,800 to like 2,500 a week. And I'll go into like how that's broken down and everything, but that was pretty much average take home a week. Right now we're seeing contracts with anywhere from 5,000 a week to 8,000 a week, which I can't even imagine making that kind of money. So we have a bunch more people who are getting into it. Hospitals don't have very many full-time staff right now, because so many nurses are wanting to do travel, which is to be expected. How your travel is how your travel pay is broken down, and this might get a little bit confusing, so please ask questions. You're going to have 3 different categories. So you've got your housing stipend, your meal stipend, and then your hourly pay. So your hourly pay is going to be what you're taxed on. So it's going to be as if you were to work any job. Like if you are a server at a restaurant, you get paid hourly, you're taxed on it. That's what all of like your state taxes, income taxes, anything like that comes out of there. Your housing stipend and your meal stipends are not taxed on. So those are really awesome to get. The higher the bigger of a city you go to, the higher your stipends are going to be. So for instance, if you're working a contract in Dallas, your stipends are going to be a lot higher than if you're working a contract in like Lubbock, Texas, just because the cost of living in Dallas is a lot higher. That being said, typically hospitals in Dallas can pay their nurses a little bit less hourly than a hospital in Lubbock can, because they know that it's a destination spot. So they can bring in more nurses by paying them less, because more people want to be in Dallas than in West Texas. I think some of the reasons why people get into traveling just in general across the board, I see money is what they're looking for. I see they want to see just new places they haven't been to before. They don't really care about the money. They just want to go to a bunch of different places in the US. And then another huge one are hospital politics. So a lot of the times I hear from nurses that if you end up in a staff role, sometimes whether they've had issues with a nurse manager, whether them and a charge nurse haven't gotten along with a traveler, you're there for 13 weeks and you're gone. So you never really kind of get integrated into the hospital politics, which some people love, some people hate. I know some people really like to be in one spot and really get to know their facility, and some people just want to kind of go off and do whatever they want. So I'm trying to not like jump around. I have a list in here. Sorry, I don't have a fancy PowerPoint. So I guess certifications that you should have. So the main one, I'm not sure where all of you will go working. I know I had a couple of friends who did TCU nursing who are now in like California, Colorado, or all over the place. If you can get a compact license, I'm not sure if you guys know what compact licenses are. Okay, cool. If you can get a compact license, get a compact license. It's so much easier than getting individual state licenses. I have a lot of nurses that I talk with who haven't heard of compact or live in a compact state and don't have the license. It's so much easier to just get it when you get the license. Obviously, the only time you can't do that is if you live in a state that's not compact. So I work with a lot of California nurses, and California itself is a little bit weird, where They're a one-off state. You can't get a compact there. It takes anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks for a nurse outside of California to get their California license. That kind of varies based on state. But for the most part, most of my nurses have compact licenses and will travel anywhere within, I think there's 37 compact states right now, and it's growing. So definitely super important. And then another one that you have to have are your certifications. So you have to have your BLS, obviously. I always recommend you get your ACLS as well. Just because most facilities, like if you work on med surg floor, you're typically not going to need your ACLS, but sometimes travel like positions will require that you have both of them. And so that just sets you up for success. Most of the time your agency will reimburse you for getting your ACLS anyways. So it's kind of a no-brainer to just take the class. You can do a lot of them online now. So I would recommend getting both of those. Another really important thing is make sure your BLS and your ACLS, PALS, anything you get is American Heart. You don't want to get Red Cross certifications. A lot of facilities are transitioning to requiring American Heart certifications. They won't accept Red Cross anymore. So just to be safe, I always recommend that you have the American Heart ones as opposed to anything else. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so with your agency, one of the main things that you should look for are obviously if they have the positions you want, but always ask if they have healthcare benefits. So dental, vision, health, 401k, different options like that. If they offer them, find out if they already take it out of your pay. So then if you decline the benefits, if you make more per week, or if they don't take them out of your pay until you elect to get them. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Because it depends on each agency. So my particular agency offers full benefits. We don't take them out of your pay until you elect to get them. So I personally think that that's the better way to do it, as opposed to agencies who take them out ahead of time unless you ask to not have them. I think that gets confusing. So make sure they have benefits. Just how agencies work in general, like how my company makes money. So my company makes money based off of you guys working. So we have contracts with the hospitals where they provide what's called a bill rate. This bill rate encompasses what we pay you hourly. It encompasses the stipends that we have to pay you guys. It encompasses any taxes that we have to pay, because we have to pay taxes. If a facility is allowing us to bill $100 an hour, we have to pay that 20% tax on that $100 an hour. So we're only getting $80 an hour to pay you guys with. And with that 80 an hour, we have to split it up between your stipends and your hourly pay. Typically, industry standard is between 25 and 30% is what agencies will take from the bill rate as opposed to what they pay you. My agency, it takes it typically around 18 to 22. So we're a little bit below industry standard, which helps us kind of cut some other agencies out. You'll also see agencies that take like 8 to 10%. Most of those agencies either have no recruiters. So if you go with an agency like that, I know some nurses love doing that. You don't have a recruiter. So if you have any issues arise, you kind of have to figure out how to reach out to like a help desk at the company. You don't have that liaison for you. And then a lot of the times we have agencies that we compete with that are actually based overseas. A lot of them are based out of like India. Those ones typically take a lower margin as well because they don't have any overhead costs really. Obviously it's totally up to you with what type of agency you go with. Some nurses love not having a recruiter. Some nurses will take a pay cut of like $300 a week to have a recruiter just because they know that when push comes to shove, having that person in your corner is super helpful. I always suggest to people that you go with a company that has a recruiter, especially when you start out. Otherwise, on a first travel assignment, that can be super overwhelming to go into a facility and not have anybody supporting you. I recommend that if you do decide to go that route with no recruiter, you definitely wait until you've got a couple travel assignments under your belt and you kind of know what to expect. But when you do start getting that experience, The most important thing I would say is getting a good facility under your belt. So the quicker you can get like a level 1 trauma facility, a level 2 trauma facility on your resume, the better. Because I have a lot of facilities that if they are level 1, like I work with Vanderbilt in Nashville, and they require that you have level 1 experience prior to being a traveler there. So if you can find a facility, I know UT Southwestern is a level 1. They don't require level 1 experience as a traveler. So if you can find a facility that is level 1 to kind of get some experience at prior to traveling, it sets you up to be in a really, really good spot. That being said, if traveling is really important to you, I know some people are set on being like cath lab nurses, labor and delivery, PACU, OR. All of those are awesome specialties. I work with all of them. If you want to be a traveler and you want to be making the most money as you can as a traveler, you really need to do one of our top 4 specialties, which is what we call them. And they're ICU, PCU, med surg, and ER. So those are going to be the 4 that if you want to travel, they're the easiest to travel in. Every hospital always has a need for all of those nurses. Typically right now, ER is actually paying the highest right now, shockingly. ER is the highest, and then I would say ICU, PCU, med surg are probably all around the same amount. And that fluctuates with COVID. We've seen ICU be the highest. We've seen PCU. We've seen OR get really high when elective surgeries reopened. But I would say if you're looking to travel, definitely go in one of those 4 specialties. Let's see what else I have. I think that was like a super, super brief overview. I could talk about this for like hours. There's so much to go into. So if you guys have like questions, specifics, anything that I explained that was really confusing, feel free to ask them. Does anyone have anything? I don't know if there's a chat. No.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Are travel nurses paid by the hospital or by the agency?
So you're paid by my agency. So my agency is the middleman. We bill the hospital and we pay you. So the reasoning behind that is hospitals take forever to do everything. So when we pay you guys, the facility won't pay us back for up to, I think it's 90 to 120 days. So we basically just like take the hit for 120 days. Well, my company right now, I want to say has close to like 600 travelers on assignment with us. And so as you can imagine, we're taking the hit on 600 nurses for like 120 days. If the nurse was working themselves, there's no way you could take a pay cut for that long. So that's kind of the reasoning behind us, is we can kind of float the middle and make up for that difference. So yeah, you get paid by the agency.
Okay, and then can you travel in pediatrics?
Yes, you can. That one's fairly difficult to travel in. The most often, or the specialty in peds that we see the most often is PICU. We see PICU and NICU, especially with the second wave of COVID. Excuse me. PICU nurses were super high in demand with the Delta variant because it was affecting kids a lot. So the reasoning behind that too was that when COVID started and the ICUs were flooded with patients and they didn't have enough nurses, they pulled all the PICU nurses to regular ICU floors. And so then when Delta came around and was affecting kids, there were no PICU nurses anymore because they'd all been moved up to ICU for the last year. So you can definitely do that. I would say peds is a little bit harder to traveling just because typically the need's not there as much, but it's definitely doable. You just have to search a little bit harder than like a traditional ICU nurse would. That's a good question though.
Thank you.
What else? Anyone else?
I know you mentioned that y'all do like 13-week contracts when you're talking about hospital politics. Do y'all do shorter contracts than that? And do y'all do like emergency? Like, I think that there was something that I saw in the news about the hurricane and sending nurses down there to help with the hurricane. Does your agency do that?
Yes, so that was a good question. I didn't touch on that. Thank you. So typically we do 13 weeks. That's pretty much industry standard. You can do up to 26 weeks, which is going to be a 6-month contract. The longest you can stay at a facility is 11 months and 30 days. So you cannot stay at one facility for longer than 12 months. Otherwise, they consider it to be like your home base and you can't be a traveler there anymore. The shortest contract we do is 4 weeks. So we have those, they're called rapid response contracts. Typically, they have really minimal compliance, with compliance being after you accept the job and get the offer. You have to do like drug screen, background check, get all your vaccinations in, just like basic compliance thing in the background. Those ones have really, really shortened processes there. So the 4-week ones typically pay a lot more, but you're also working 4 or 5 days a week. They're typically at hospitals that super favorable, just because that's why they need nurses quickly and for a short amount of time, is because they have nobody there right now. I know we just staffed one a couple of months ago in Jacksonville, Florida, and they said that they were having patients sitting in hallways. They didn't have enough people to even see people. I mean, there were empty rooms because they didn't have enough nurses. People were sitting in hallways. So typically the rapid responses are going to be a little bit harder of assignments, not to say the 13 weeks aren't going to be difficult themselves. But for the most part, you're going to see 8 to 13 weeks for your contracts.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live mainly when you guys have the contracts?
Like, where do the nurses live?
Yeah.
Okay. So it depends. So some agencies will provide you with housing. Typically it's going to be the bigger agencies that it can afford to just rent out a whole hotel. With that though, if they pay to put you up in a hotel, you don't get your housing stipend. So you lose that money, which personally, I would rather pick where I live and get my housing stipend, because they might put you up in like, they would never put you up in like a Motel 6, but like say theoretically they put you in a Motel 6 and your housing stipend's $1,000 a week. You're losing $1,000 a week to live in a Motel 6. Like I always recommend that you find your own housing if it's an option. It also allows you to pick what type of housing that you live in, whether you want to live in an apartment, an Airbnb, you want to rent a house, how nice of a place you want to live in. Maybe I have some nurses that want to live as cheaply as they can. And I've got some nurses that are like, I'm making so much money, I want to live in a mansion with a pool, and like, go for it. Like, good on you. I'd want to do that too. And so typically the nurses find their own, but your agency should always have like different avenues to help you. Like I know my agency works with long-term stay hotels. We have partnerships with Airbnb, VRBO, just different ways to help you, but typically you find your own, and it's just totally up to you if you want to live close, far, nice, not as nice. But yeah, you guys find it.
Regarding like hours and shift wise, is the typical 13-week contract like 3 12-hour shifts, like 4 10-hour shifts, or does it just really depend?
So 4 10-hour shifts are typically going to be like your PACU, your OR, your cath lab. I've never seen like an ICU nurse work a 410. Normally travel contracts are going to be 3 12s. The chat, I just saw that. That's funny. So normally the travel contracts are going to be 3 12s, but right now with COVID, you're seeing a lot of 4 12s, 5 12s. You can typically pick what you want to do. Right now, most of my travel nurses are doing it because of the money. So most of them want to work as many shifts as possible. I've got nurses on assignment who are working 5, 6, some of them are even working 7 shifts a week. I don't know how that's possible or safe. But they're doing it to make as much money as they can. But facilities will also do guaranteed hours. You guys, are you familiar with guaranteed hours? No? Okay. So like for instance, I'm working on a facility right now. I'm working with Banner Health in Arizona. They're a huge client of ours, they're paying their nurses over $7,000 a week right now. The nurse can choose if they want to do 36 or 48 hours a week. Whichever they pick, they're guaranteed. So say a nurse picks a 48-hour guarantee. She has to work those 4 shifts a week. But say she goes in one week and she works her 3 shifts. On her 4th shift, she goes in and her unit manager, charge nurse is like, hey, you know what? We overstaffed today. We don't need you. You can go home. She goes home. She still gets paid as if she worked her 4th shift. So guarantees are super important. You always want to get a guarantee. Make sure it's in your contract. I would not sign a contract without a guarantee, because if you don't have one, you could essentially become a PRN nurse that they just call you when they need you. Almost all facilities will do guaranteed hours. It's rare that I don't see that. But yeah, so you can pick 36 or 48. It's up to you, but typically 40 hours a week are going to be like the surgical services.
Forgive me if you already said this, but does the travel agency pay for your travel to, like, if you're going to a different state? Do they pay for the travel?
Yes. So it depends by agency. Most of them will give you like it's called a travel stipend. It's called a travel stipend. Sorry, totally got caught off guard. One of my coworkers just came in the office. It's called a travel stipend. My agency does anywhere from 100 to 500. So if you're going from Alaska to Texas, I'm going to give you a $500 travel stipend, because that's a lot of travel. You can use it for hotels, flights, gas, food, anything that you use to get there. But it's a use it or lose it situation. So I tell all of my nurses, if I'm giving you a $500 travel stipend and you submit me your receipts for $200, go stock your fridge at your place that you're at. Like, use all of it. There's no reason to not use all of it. It's free money. So I always recommend that you guys use all of your travel stipend, but yeah, you should get one. My agency does it where it's just on the front end, but you can split it up however you want. So like if I give you $500, you can do $250 on the front, $250 on the back. So it's up to you guys, but for the most part, they should. Some agencies will actually buy you flights. We just did a Hawaii contract and we bought all of our nurses' flights down there, which was nice for them. Obviously, that's a pain to have to deal with. But yeah, good question.
Okay, I think since no one else is sending anything in the chat, we could probably wrap it up now. I took tons of notes and I'm gonna format them and post them on the website just so that we have it all in writing, like some of the things that you said. Thank you so much for coming. That was super informative. I'm sure everybody loved it. And I'm also gonna post, Madeline gave me permission to post her email. So if y'all have any follow-up questions or need anything else, y'all are free to reach out to her. I'll post that on the website also.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm more than happy, like Samantha said, to answer any questions. If you guys have anything, feel free to reach out. I basically live in my office. I mean, it's 7:30 and I have no intention of leaving anytime soon. So please reach out. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have, but thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, y'all can stay on. We have just like 2 more slides and then it's attendance. So for this, I'm going to send it in the chat or you can do the QR code. But this is just to vote for one of the outstanding seniors. I'm pretty sure it's like the Mr. and Mrs. TCU that we do for homecoming weekend. So you can vote for one of the senior exec members for them to represent us at homecoming for the voting. I think voting is October 8th. So whoever we nominate, we can post on the Instagram or something like that. But make sure that you vote for that person so that we can have SNA represented on a large scale at a TCU football game. And then you can go to the next slide, Megan.
All right, so I will do the raffle prize and I'm just gonna close my eyes. Ellie Sanville. Will you put your email in the chat, please? And maybe your phone number too. Ellie Sanville.
Real quick before attendance, please fill out that contact info form. Like I said, we have like 400 members now. It's a lot of people for me to keep up with, which is really exciting. Like I love that. But please fill it out. I'm in charge of the roster, so if you don't fill it out, maybe I'll get cranky and delete you. I'm just kidding. That was a lie, but please do it. I already wiped butt today. Not in a good mood.
Okay, so you guys can scan this QR code to get attendance for the meeting. Please don't freak out. It will log you in if you're already logged in through TCU super, super fast. So you may not even see it at the bottom. But if you really, really, really want to double check, you can reach out to our membership director, Maddie Nunley. I'm also not sure how that works if you're not on our Engage yet. Maddie, do you know if they're not on Engage? Do they need to double check that with you?
Yes, I just finished finalizing everyone. I have 2 people left. So Sierra Farr and Samantha. I'm gonna mess up your last name, Samantha P. It's like the Bachelor. I'm going to approve y'all right now. Sorry. Sierra Farr. Okay.
And then I just sent the link in the chat.
And I'll send my phone number too. So if you have technological difficulties, don't worry, and I will count you present. Really easy.
Do we just put that like we will be attending the meeting, or like what do we have to select?
You can go ahead and click the meeting, but it should have already logged you in whenever you did it. You shouldn't have to fill out anything.
Yeah, it should be, you literally log in, you like put in your password, your username, password, and at the bottom it says your attendance has been recorded. So you don't have to click on anything.
And once you guys do attendance, y'all are free to go. So thank y'all for coming to our first meeting, and we'll have our next meeting in October on Tuesday.
Hi, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I tried to do the attendance and nothing popped up saying that my attendance was recorded.
Did it take you to the
Laura?
TCU Engage page?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
If it took you to the TCU Engage page, then
Right.
I'm almost 100% sure it already recorded it. It's this tiny little box at the bottom that pops up, and it probably it's like 2 seconds, and you probably missed it.
Okay.
Maddie,
No.
can you look and see if it popped up?
So
I am
used
gonna
my
write your name
phone.
down right now, and if it didn't, then I got you.
Okay, thank you, because I don't think it popped up unless I missed it.
I'm having the same issue as well. I can't get to that button. Sorry.
I got y'all's names.
Honestly, I think like
you.
I had to hit like I will be attending the meeting, so maybe that's what some people's are doing. That's what I had to do.
Kat and Lauren, I got y'all.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks, y'all. Is Grace still on the meeting? Okay, let me see, Grace, if you're on.
Yes, I'm on. I just went on TCU Engage and pressed join the group.
Perfect. I will accept you right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then I can do the attendance right now.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, yeah. Kat wasn't on. Okay. Yeah. She hadn't done it yet. Okay. Grace, honestly, I need to put you on the roster. So I will write your name down and I will manually add you. But thank you so much. I will accept you in like 5 minutes.
No worries. Should I wait to do the attendance then?
No, you're so fine. I can do it for you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for coming.
can stop recording.